And today, what we're going to do is take a look at aging and just to take a look at the continuum of aging and then look at how you might position a sense of your present aging so you can sort of work out where you're going, the journey that you're on, and then look at three approaches to aging confidently, aging gracefully, aging naturally, and just unpacking these. I'm not going to take very long. You have your own experience of aging now. And I'd just like to give a reference point because the activity is one where we take a look at what might be the issues that you are engaging with and figuring out how those issues hinder and help you and how you can find humility in dealing with them. And that activity is slightly different than what you'll find in most other places. If we've not met, I'm Stephen. I'm a legacy mentor here with Wealth Movement and the Legacy After 60 platform program. With these side of the desk Saturday activities is bring to you a way of enhancing, encouraging your involvement in legacy after 60. First up, I'd just like to ask you, what does aging mean to you? And if you've got your journal ready, that's great. If you need to pause and go get it, that's wonderful as well. But what does aging mean to you? You're probably experiencing it because I'm thinking you're 50, 60 plus, that if you're watching the video here. Now, if you're younger, great, because preparation is always forward thinking. But what is aging? I'm not going to go over it in terms of diving into it in a deep way, but I'd just like to offer one way in which I look at it. I use what's called the aging continuum and use the words younger and older. And when you're first getting involved with things, there's that younger approach. And then there's a point where you move to the name older. And now, as a younger, you define when you become that older. Now, there are restrictions, namings that come from around you that place in front of you this story of you're now an older, but it isn't necessarily how you might approach that continuum. So I am an ager who is an older. That's how I look at myself at this point in time. And so I'm in my next 50, which is I am past 50, past 60. I'm actually in my early 70s, unfolding this whole story of what legacy is about. And I want to celebrate in myself. Aging is something that is I'm involved with. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to encourage it. I'm going to be curious about it. I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to figure out what my desires are connected with it. I'm going to figure out, what my fear of missing out is going to be and what can I do about that. So I'm unpacking this whole story of aging, and I would encourage you to do the same. And if you just paused right now of that continuum I've just shared, where would you be at this point in time? And if you have other ways to describe aging, you can always drop them in the comments down below, because then we can learn together. And that's a wonderful way in which to be in community. The second way I'd like to take a look at aging is our positioning in our life. You could link it to our lifestyle. It's what's happening to us. And you can think of it as three parts of a pie. Now, three slices of a pie. So there's solo aging, grand aging, and partner aging. Now, solo aging is where there's no family around you to help take care of you that you can lean into and support. The grand aging is that you're a grandparent, therefore you have your own children, and you have the grandchildren, and you're interacting with them, whether they're really close or you might have Zoom, Google Meet connections with them, whatever that might be. And then there's partner aging, which means there's someone with you and there's a significant other that is living, traveling with you in whatever arrangement that might be. So as an example, I'm a solo ager. I will not lean into grand ager in any way. I know that to be the case. And I'm the solo ager, is even though I have family, they are at a great distance from me, and they're not necessarily going to be of support. They have their own lives that they're living. And there is no partner with me, so truly a solo ager. So the diagram that you see popping up right now, if you were to start in the middle and then sort of move to where you are, which of those pie slices you are, and where you might be headed, you might find yourself, in some of you, might be spiraling around that. Some of you, it's direct, like me, direct in the solo aging, and it's just moving out from there. So take a moment and just draw that circle and the three pies and pie shapes, and see where you are. Just sort of map it out for yourself, just as a quick reference. And the third thing I just like to bring to the foreground is this notion of aging confidently, gracefully, naturally. These are terms, and I use one or the other, both, or all three, depending on where I'm writing at the time. But aging confidently is that you have the confidence, the currency of confidence, that you know that you can get into and do and be and have what's necessary while aging. You don't have to second guess yourself. You have confidence in that. Aging gracefully is that you have gratitude for what's going on. And it's sort of a sense of just, whew, okay, I'm just moving through. I'm not going to let a lot get in my way. I'm on my way. I'm living the life that I would like to live while I'm aging. Aging naturally, you can link it back to health and wellness. And I also link it to this whole sense of being with nature somehow, somewhere. Now, if you can get up and move and walk with nature, or take up an activity in the outdoors, great. Or think about nature as a muse metaphor from that mental, emotional kind of point of view as well. So which of those three aging terms, confidently, gracefully, naturally, describes who you are at this point in time? You could be all three. You could be one. I am certainly embracing all three because I am confident about what I'm doing, and thus I'm writing and shooting videos. Gracefully, as I'm on my way in terms of where I want to go, what I want to do, how I want to live. Naturally, well, I just got back from a walk, so I'm enjoying being outside and being with the trees and the forest and the plants and, well, the black squirrel that ran in front of me this morning. I have an activity for you that I think will be of use, and it's based on the acronym STEEP, and it stands for Social, Cultural, Technological, Environmental, Economical, and Political. And it's linked to this thing called issues. Now, often what people say is, what's your problem? And let's see if we can find a solution to it. I don't quite lean into that language. I talk about issues, and therefore, yes, there are problem issues that are of concern, but there are issues that are appreciative, that are joy to you. So you may want to solve the problem, but you may want to extend the appreciation. But what I've also found over time is that the issue that you're dealing with has a problem sense to it and an appreciation sense to it. And therefore, how can I be humble, find my humility in the inquiry of looking at that combination? And that has been one of those secrets that have unfolded for me. One of those ways in which I get on my way is to understand these two aspects. And that's what I'm going to share with you now. I'll be digging out my whiteboard here, and we'll just be going over an activity that you can use to find meaning in bringing problem inquiry, appreciative inquiry together under the banner of humble inquiry. On the screen that follows, you will see the 10 issues that are social, cultural, technological, the list that's here. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just read through them, and you can pause and then select the top two that seems to be influencing you. Alternatively, you can add something to each of them. So you may end up with a list of 11 or 12. But what I'm looking for is take a look at the 10, because what I want you to do is pull out of there the two that are your priority and do the same for the other ones as well. And you'll end up with then 10 issues, of which you're going to select what's the top one. And what we're going to do is do the next level of analysis of it. So what you can do now is just go through each one of them and select and take a few minutes. So, watch, read, pause, write, whatever way you want to do this. Okay, so now what you've done is you've gotten to the point, you've figured out what's that one issue out of the 10 that you prioritized, and you can just write it down on a piece of paper and then draw this sort of wavy T, because what we're going to do is use it to complete an analysis of that issue. Now, with that issue, what you're going to do is write down what are the ways in which that issue hinders your life, and what are the ways in which it helps. Now, the interesting thing here is most of us are really good at grabbing the hinders, but some of these issues actually help you. And if you just sit back a little bit, and this is where pausing and then just taking out this piece of paper you have and writing it down, see if you can find some of the helps that go with it. Because when you do, you'll find a very fascinating way to unfold something here. What becomes important here is that once you have your lists, you're going to then say to yourself, well, of these hinders, how do I eliminate the statement? Or how do I reduce its impact on my life, its influence? And also, on the help side is, how do I maintain something or convert it to help me out in terms of what I'm living my life? And so you're going to end up with a series of actions that have a sense of what you can do to take that issue with these actions and deal with that issue. Now, what's important again is find your helps, find some helps, at least 3. I think you'll find this to be fascinating because when you go to do another one, you might see how this pattern, this meaningful pattern, will pop out for you. Now what you're going to do is you take the issue, understanding you have hinders and helps, the actions that you've listed out, you can say, okay, I'm going to take action 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, so you can prioritize it. So as you look at the actions you're taking, what are going to be the outcomes you will start to see so that you can start to have markers and measures about what is happening? Are you getting there? Is this issue, all right, being dealt with, whether it's a problem and you're dealing with the concern, or it's an appreciation and you're dealing with the joy of it? In doing that, what you will find is your humility, the humbleness, because what you're doing is you're going to balance off the hinder and help of that issue, and you're going to find that it will have a deeper, better, kinder, wiser outcome for you. And you will find that you will start to really appreciate the aging that you're living with. In completing this activity and getting that little bit of a deeper, a simpler way of looking at aging as you're experiencing it, then the walking stick is just a reminder of the path you're on, the movement that you're going through. When you carry your satchel, you're carrying in it what you want to continue, stop, and start. And therefore, you're not weighted down with a lot of baggage. It's a satchel that contains those ideas that you can then lean into and use to find the fun, fulfillment, and freedom of your aging. Comments are appreciated. Questions. What learnings have you got from this activity? Any thoughts that you would want to add in so that we can learn together? And always, take care.